I'd like to begin my YouTube channel with something close to my heart, which would be reading in this case. Heesu in class 2 simply caught me in a time that I needed it the most, and that's why I want to make a video about it. And with that out of the way, let's get into the review. Heesu's world revolves around Chanyeong, his best friend and secret crush. He doesn't mind cheering Chanyeong from the sidelines or listening to all his girl problems. He doesn't care if people only know him as Chanyeong's friend. Then one day, Heesu starts hearing his name everywhere. On the bus, in the halls, during lunch. Turns out, there's a rumor going around school. Got a love problem? Find Heesu in class 2 and he'll tell you what to do. And with that, Heesu suddenly finds himself the center of attention. But how could he give anyone advice? He doesn't even know what to do about his own crush. The beginning of this webtoon is not the most original one I've seen. It's about unrequited love. Heesu has a crush on Chanyeong, his best friend, and it's a trope that I've seen many times in all types of media, whether it be in K-dramas, anime, or in Western movies. But what makes Heesu in class 2 special, in my opinion, is the growth that we see in the main character. We see him grow from being just Chanyeong's sidekick into being his own individual who can stand on his own. However, Heesu on his own does not gain any special quirk or personality. He simply lives as himself, always trying to be the best version of what he could possibly be. And as a reader, by the end of his character development, you feel proud of him and also happy for him. Heesu has 3 sisters who in their own way support him. Heejung the oldest, Heejae the lovesick sister, and Heeshin the happy one. The family dynamic, although not that special, is endearing to read about. His siblings never try to shut him down or force him to confront something that he doesn't want to, and they give him the space and time to talk to them whenever he wants to or needs to. We don't get to see much of the parents actually in the manhwa, except for Seungwon's parents. But overall, the family dynamic that is presented in this manhwa is like everything else, wholesome to the maximum. What got me interested in Heesu in class 2 was the BL tag, and I'm certain that most of the people who have read this webtoon are already BL readers. But either way, the representation in this was really good in my opinion. The main relationship between Heesu and Seungwon is very shoujo-like, in that it's very charming, and it's not too much or too little, it's simply just right. If I remember correctly, there are next to no explicit scenes in the manhwa. However, I do think that consent was handled in a good way. Seungwon doesn't push Heesu in their relationship, and he respects his boundaries. And one other thing which I love about this manhwa is the public opinion about homosexuality. There is no real explicit homophobia in this series. It's more like, oh, you like a guy? Well, good for you, I guess. Not in the bad way, by the way. Even when Heesu and Seungwon begin dating, the school doesn't seem to pay them any extra attention. It's simply love and that's it. And although I know that this is more of a bubbly and lighthearted manhwa, I do understand people who might say that this is perhaps boring or it doesn't reflect reality as well. But I also think that this is not supposed to be that kind of manhwa which is more realistic. I don't feel like every story has to represent a realistic and not so pleasant view of the LGBT. And as an avid consumer of this type of media, I do think that representing an accurate picture of LGBT issues serves its importance. But I also believe that at a certain point, the public image of the community can also only be seen as sad if we keep presenting a horrible picture. Not all queer people need to have a sad story. And Heesu in Class 2 in many cases represents a brighter and perhaps hopeful future for LGBT people. In case you haven't noticed yet, I absolutely adore this manhwa. Heesu in Class 2 is probably one of my all-time favorite BLs. It has completely mesmerized me with its charms. Although I wasn't as interested in the second part with the other couple, I definitely recommend that you at least read a couple of chapters. I would like to thank the author Lily for creating such a beautiful manhwa with such relatable characters and just made me feel so wholesome. And with that, thank you for watching and see you next time.